What's going on, familia? Welcome back. Me, Andres Fernandez, and Mr. Pelon himself.
What's up, everybody?
Here in episode 185. Super happy. A call from the universe. This is a particularly beautiful story that I apologize that we have not spoken about this earlier, sir. I am blessed to now hear the full, from A to Z, Mr. Galo Paredes Jr. Story of how everything happened with him in the salsa world. As I'm sure you have a very unique experience as well. I think episode 26, the salsa bug, always has a way to find itself in our lives. But before we begin, thank you so much to our sponsors, mydanceshirts.com. Mr. Paredes himself has a dry fit over here looking fresh with his Salsa Kings, a bunch of different designs as well. mydanceshirts.com, as well as Miami Salsa Cruise, the last week of February 2026. Go ahead and join us, guys. We're going to be out 7 days, 6 nights, live salsa band every single night aboard the Carnival Horizon, huge Havana bar, and we're going to be dancing the night away aboard the high seas. MiamiSalsaCruise.com. Go ahead and check that out. Sir.
Yes, sir.
So when you and I met, I don't know where in the journey this was for you,
Right.
but I'm introduced by a mutual friend. So this is just the watered down version from my perspective. And I'm going down to Homestead, which is like near the Florida Keys, by the way, for those of you that don't know.
Exit 1.
Exit 1, right? And I'm going to Galo's house. And sure enough, there's salsa music blasting there. You have to I'm like at a house party from high school, just coming through as everybody is there dancing and having a good time. And sure enough, Galo is the host, where we end up later that evening meeting, discussing a little bit of business, and eventually beginning our business journey and more cherished for me, our friendship. Absolutely. So where, I guess starting off, where in the timeline for you was that, and how does, because I'm sure that the title of this episode has people a little confused. A call from the universe is kind of like a heavy, I guess, phrase of words,
Right,
if
exactly.
you would, to represent what we're talking about. Why is that a suitable title for what we're about to talk about today?
Okay. Sure. Okay, well, to answer your question, that was, I would say, maybe in the middle, or maybe a little bit before the middle of my salsa journey.
Okay.
So I would say around there. But the reason I say it called for the universe is, again, it's going to be a story, like a story time.
Sure.
I was back in 2007 is when I first discovered that very popular movie, The Secret, right?
Okay.
Which was a worldwide phenomenon at that time, and everybody was talking about it, and then I saw it, and I've always been interested in those type of things. And so then I saw it, it was fascinating. And then that was, I guess, the spark that got me into the law of attraction or manifestation.
Right. Okay, so could you kind of summarize a little bit about what The Secret was? I mean, you basically just said is the law of attraction, but what does that mean for those that don't know?
It's basically how, depending on your thoughts and how your beliefs, how you can attract things into your life. Okay. And, it's more of making sure you're thinking obviously you're going to have always a range of emotions from negative to positive, but in general, thinking positively and then doing specific techniques like affirmations or visualizations or vision boards. And then if you create a project and keep that in your mind, then you can attract those things in your life.
Okay.
Things like that. So that got me interested.
That sounds a little foo-foo, Galo.
Yeah,
I don't know, bro. I don't know if I believe in that exactly.
Yeah. I get that all the time, but I've always been an oddball. I've always been into those foo-foo things my whole life. So that interested me. So I went deep into the rabbit hole with a lot of attraction and read all the books and learned about all the techniques and experimented with it. And it was fascinating to me. So, I tried, okay, let me try. Let me see if I can manifest this. Let me try this.
Okay.
And so I did all the techniques, and I had a lot of projects, and some things came in, right? And other things never came in. Weeks later, months later, and I'm doing my visualizations, and it's not coming in. What the heck? What am I doing wrong? So So it's always been a journey experimenting with that and seeing if it's true, if it's not true, if it works. You know, from my experience, it does work, but then there is sometimes there's a, you know, you can really get into in depth as far as what can be blocking it and all things of that sort. So then, you know, years later, I was analyzing my failures, my successes, and then always came back to salsa. And salsa, when I thought about myself, and also all those other projects that I did, you know, I was doing techniques, you know, affirmations, visualizations, going into the theta, you know, brainwave and alpha brainwave, and using all these little tools and you know, vision boards and audio tapes and things like that. You know, of what is it that I was working on that specific moment in time.
Okay.
So then, when I was not visualizing, but when I was thinking about all that, salsa always came up as far as, hey, you know what? I've been attracting a whole bunch of salsa related things all my life. Oh, well, not all my life, but since I started my journey, you know, 12, 13 years ago. And then, and I didn't do any techniques. And I was like, I didn't do any techniques. They just kept things just coming to me and coming to me and coming to me.
So, okay, so you're talking about when you began this practice.
Yes.
This was already, you had already started your salsa journey, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but even before I even thought about salsa, how it came into my life also.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
yes.
you were already manifesting and attracting
Before.
things related to salsa before the secret, I
Yes.
guess you could say.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So then when I started thinking about it, I said, okay, I guess I can start from the beginning, right? So start from the beginning. So I was your typical person, you know, as far as you probably heard this. All salsa instructors have heard this from many people that think, oh, I can't dance. I have no rhythm. I have two left feet, and
Right.
I can never dance. I remember I used to say the same exact things all the time. Huh? And I wasn't even thinking. I never even thought I could dance. I wasn't even. Salsa was the last thing on my mind, right? So then, so when I think about it, it's I was supposed to learn how to dance, and I was avoiding it, and for whatever reason, I wasn't just jumping on that path, and that's why I said a call from the universe. Is I feel that the universe slapped me across the face and says, okay, if you're not gonna do it, then I'm gonna make you do it. All right. So then basically that's how I feel it happened, and so basically, I had a niece that came to visit from out of state to Miami. And she was a teenager, and she was bored in the house, not doing much. And then so I had.
How long ago was this?
This was back in 2012.
Okay.
2012, about 13 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, so she was in the house bored, and then I was telling some of the younger kids teenagers that I knew, hey, you know, take her out. There's some place you can take her, so she can have some fun, you know. And then one of the guys said, hey, yeah, there's these salsa classes up north, Pedro Pines, I think it was. And we can take her there. It's fun. There's a lot of young people there. They can have a lot of fun.
And this is Salsa con Sazon.
Salsa con sazon.
Oh,
Exactly.
shout out to, what's her name?
Ay. Don't put me on the spot.
Oh,
man.
no, I'm sorry.
Lena, I think it was Lena.
Lena, yes,
Yeah, I
it
think
was.
Lena.
Yes.
Salsa
Shout out to
con
Lena,
Sazon.
for
Yeah.
sure. Salsa con
So she had an
Sazon.
amazing school up in Pembroke Pines, I think it was. And then so I said, okay, I'll take you. I'll drive you. You know, I have to be her ride. So we got there. It was a 2-hour class. So instead of just sitting in the car and just waiting 2 hours and just waiting there, I said, okay, I'll take the class with you. So I went into the classroom, and we took the class together. And I said, it was so much fun. I loved it. I was picking her up. I was like, oh.
That was it.
I was like, I didn't know I could dance. Oh, wow. And everybody was lost. And I was, no, it's easy, man. Just, you know.
Oh,
Okay, not bad, not bad. I was
no,
getting
this
it.
guy's
I was
showing
getting
off.
it.
This guy's showing off.
Yeah. So I was getting it. I said, okay, this wasn't that bad. And I had an amazing time, and I loved it. And I really liked it a lot. So then the next weekend, I was like, hey, you gonna go to that salsa class again? And she's like, you want to? Come on, let's go. I'll take you. So boom, we went, and that's it. From that first class, I was hooked. I got obsessed. That's all I thought about. I dreamed about it. I was thinking, all right, what's the next move? And this and this. Oh, I gotta learn this one. I gotta practice this move. And I got obsessed about it. So then, you know.
By the way, for those of you that don't know Galo, there's obsessed, and then there's like a Galo obsessed. For sure.
Yes. When I get into a subject, I go deep, and I just go all in.
He starts whipping out the notebook.
Yeah.
Not the notes on your phone. No, the notebook.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's it. I got obsessed, and I was just looking at videos and the next class, and then literally, I think it was a month later, Salsa con Sazon it closed down.
Oh, wow.
So then I was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do now? So then that's when I went. Okay, look for schools, and then Salsa Lovers came up,
Nice.
and then I started going to Salsa Lovers. Okay, so then having fun, learning, advancing through the levels, and then this was the first thing that happened. This was the first like milestone in my journey, right? So then that wasn't enough. The classes wasn't enough. So I wanted a dance partner. So I wanted to find somebody that was just obsessed with me or wanted to learn salsa. And then I said, okay, since I'm a nerd, since in class I was going I took every single class. I never missed 5 days a week. I learned all the steps for the follows for the girls. And then I said, okay, I'll teach you all the girl steps. And if I teach you all the how to dance salsa, since I know all the girl steps, then you commit to practicing with me, so I can practice more and get better, right? And then she said, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, okay, cool. So then we have our first session. I showed all the steps, the basics. Like, I know this and two, and then we started practice. In that first session, we learned a little bit. We practiced a little bit, and then okay, let's set up the next day for the next weekend. And then she said okay, and then we set a day. So it'd be pretty much once a week. So then before the next session, then she calls me and she says, hey, I have a friend that would like to join us, right? So then I said, can she come? So can she come? Right?
Okay.
So then I said, sure, bring her. Sure, no problem. No. So she comes, and then so we go through the same thing. I show all the basics, show the steps, and now we have two ladies I can practice with. I was like, yes, awesome. I got two partners, right?
Sure.
And then okay, let's meet next week. Okay, and then next week they said again, hey, we have another friend that wants to join. Can we bring him? I was like, sure, no problem. So now we have two couples. Now we have a red. Now we can do the red. I was showing them the red stuff. And literally that happened every week, nonstop. And literally, I would say about 3 months later, my house was full. I had like 30, 40, 50 people every Sunday night at my house learning how to, and me teaching them how to dance.
Wow.
So again, this was the other thing where, okay, so this is the first example of how I attracted it, right?
Yeah.
So I never in my mind thought of being an instructor or a teacher. Never. I just wanted to practice more, and I just wanted to enjoy the song, learn more, and practice. And then, again, it just the teaching part just came naturally. It just came in. Right, so that was the first thing that came in.
Wow.
The second thing. All right, besides just getting the slap, saying, okay, you need to learn how to dance.
Okay, so was the slap, if you would, what you're calling the slap, did that start because of salsa? Like this call from the universe.
Yes.
So salsa.
Yeah.
So salsa slapped you.
Yeah. Salsa slapped me.
Okay.
So basically, it was the slap from the universe saying, "Hey, you need to learn how to dance." And I wasn't getting the picture. Wasn't getting the memo. But I was heavily involved for years before that, though, in law of attraction, manifestation, everything that the secret movie came out. I really was heavily involved.
So did you know that this was happening to you, or did you realize that was happening? Hindsight. Okay.
Yeah, hindsight. Yeah, at the moment I didn't. I was just flowing. And then just recently, I don't know, about maybe a year ago, I was just, I don't know, one day I was thinking about this stuff, and I just
really recent.
Recent. I realized, holy crap, my whole salsa journey was just like effortless manifestation. I never, without intention, never said, okay, I want to learn how to teach. I want to learn this.
All right, now you're just showing off, bro. Yeah. Now you're just showing off your wizardry. That's awesome, though, man.
Right.
That's super cool. Okay, all right. So now I'm feeling. Okay, so what happens next?
All right. So continuing the story. So then after that, we have our common friend Eddie Naranjo. So he used to, there maybe a couple times he went to my house on Sunday nights when I was doing my classes, and then this is the third thing that happened. So again, I was just doing my classes, teaching people how to dance every Sunday night. The house was full. And then, and I was always posting videos and putting stuff on social media with the classes.
Which you're amazing
and pictures.
With.
Yeah. And then, again, out of the blue, this is the third thing. I received a message, I think it was on Instagram or Facebook, one of those two. I don't remember. From another guy that he knew about me, and he saw all the stuff that I was putting out. Oh, I see that you teach. And then he said, hey, do you want to do a performance? There's going to be a big party coming up in a few months. Do you want to do a performance? We want to get a group of people and blah, blah, blah. And then again, just like always, I said, sure, why not?
That's the magic word.
That's the magic. Sure, why not? Sure, I'll do it. Again, so then just reach out to me. So then we train, you know how it is for performances to get it perfect for months. I think maybe 3 months straight, 2-3 times a week, with practicing and learning the routines, and finally we got it down. So then the day comes of the party. It was some big party, and we rented out I think the guy who was throwing it rented out a ballroom, and there was about 300 people there. It was a big party. And then, so we did the performance, and we killed it. We did amazing. We did really good. And then...
expect nothing less from Pelon.
And then the DJ for that party was Eddie. Was Eddie? No.
Oh, he was the DJ.
So he was the DJ.
Okay.
Right. So again, he already knew me. He went to my house a couple times. So then, I think I remember having a conversation with Eddie, and he told me this. So if it's slightly off by slightly, I don't remember. But I remember basically
Eddie.
The gist of it was, hey, Galo, I see that you're really into this salsa stuff. You're teaching, now you're doing a performance. You know what? I know somebody. I have a friend that I want you to meet, that I can connect you with. He has a studio that on Sunday nights he doesn't. It's no, there's no classes. It's closed down. Maybe you guys can work out something, and you can do your classes in the studio instead of doing it in your house. Because obviously he was there. He saw how packed it was.
That's right.
And then again, I said, sure, why not? Sure, why not? I'm open to it. So I didn't even think about it. We had that conversation, and I was like, okay. And then that next Sunday night, Mr. Andres shows up with you and Emily. I was doing the classes. You guys come in. I see you guys come in.
I remember. And I'm here like dodging and ducking around this awesome salsa party at this guy's house.
You're watching and seeing, I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna not mess up when I'm teaching, man. This guy's watching me. So we finished the classes. That's at the end. Usually at the end, then we would dance for, have a social, an hour, a couple hours we'd dance. And then so we talked. And then we say, hey, I got the studio. We said sure. We liked each other. We come to an agreement, and then that's it. So then we agreed. I think it was like maybe a couple weeks, a month later is when it finally started it there. Just planning, spreading the word. So so I just put it on social media. Hey, I'm gonna start doing my classes here at this Salsateros. At back then it was Salsateros Studio. So come. So I was thinking, at that point I was thinking, all right, it's just gonna be the same people that are in my house at this time. Now we're gonna have some more room, some more space. Mm-hmm. So I put it out there. So then the day comes. That first Sunday night for doing the classes in the studio, and then so we were there, and then all of a sudden, we see a big line, and a whole bunch of people starts coming in, and then literally at the end by the time we started classes, there were over 100 people there, almost more than double the amount of people that would come to my house, and I was like shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the heck is happening, man? It's like all these people. I was like, oh my God, how are we going to teach all these people? So it was an amazing night. Again, we killed it. We had a great class. We had a great social. The vibe was awesome.
Were great, man.
And it was beautiful. And then that continued for every weekend, for every Sunday night for almost about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, a year and a half. That continued. And then we did the classes there for a long time. And then, so that stopped. I got burnt out a little bit because at that point, from the Salsateros.
That's right.
And then from my house, I think for 2 years before. So it was like 4 or 5 years straight. Every Sunday I was doing classes, and I needed a break. So I took a little break. And then that's about, that's about when then COVID and all that stuff happened. I would do classes here, workshops here every now and then. And then once COVID lifted and everybody were, not scared of meeting. So then I started my classes in my house again on Sunday nights in my house. And it's just, hey, man, I'm opening and come. Whoever wants to come, free. I think at that time, I changed it up a little. I said, by donations, I'll accept donations if anybody wants. But, I wasn't like charging. And so then I started doing that. And then I did that for maybe another couple, let me see. Yeah, maybe a couple years, maybe. That was about 2021, maybe 2022, whatever, around there. And then again, out of the blue, I get a call from Mr. Andres. Again, and then he reaching out to me. Hey, Galo, I see you guys are still you're still doing your classes on Sunday nights.
Right,
Blah blah. You're still doing it. I see you still teaching, still dancing. Blah blah blah. And then you say, hey, you want to meet? I want to talk to you about something. So then I said, sure. Why not? Yeah, let's go. Let's talk, man. Yeah, let's catch up one more time. See how I haven't seen you in a while. Let's catch up. And then that's when you.
Is that a Panera?
Yeah, that was a Panera Bread.
That's
Panera
right.
Bread.
That's right. That's right.
And then that's when you told me about how Salsa Kings is expanding. We're opening more locations. We have, and then would you be interested in doing a Salsa Kings location in the Homestead area? And then I was I said sure, I'm open to it. Why not? I was doing it in my house and for so long, and we already worked before, and then that's what happened here. So and that's how we're at this point. So then we opened up in January, so a couple months now. A Homestead, Salsa Kings Homestead is open. Let's go. It's going well. People are coming, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see the growth and the continuation of the growth of Homestead, of Salsa Kings, and see where this journey takes us.
Well, man, I gotta say, bro, it's always been a pleasure working with you. But more than anything, I did always see, which talking about a call from the universe, right? I feel like, or would you agree? Better phrase is a question, that you've had these results because it kind of like it came from a place of like not expecting anything in return.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So
is that
Yeah,
right? Like the people, I think that people like they pick up on that, and it's like, man, it's so awesome that they're in an environment that they're receiving, and then of course from there, then it's easy to kind of return that love, or at least when the ask is
right.
When the ask happens, like, hey, we're opening up at a studio now and we're charging $5 or whatever it was, $10 that we were in at the time. That no one had a problem with it. As a matter of fact, the numbers doubled. Clearly, what happened was. So what I'm basically saying is that it was always been a pleasure because you feel that you're coming from that place, and I always wanted to have that vibe here, because even though of course everything that we're doing is a business, but the community and the connection of everything that we're doing is utmost and primary.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what people are coming for. They're coming to meet friends. They're coming to shake their stress away, literally. And
definitely stress relief.
Meet somebody new, laugh. Kind of, I don't want to say forget or run away from everyday life, but kind of like see that there's more than the stresses of there's more to life.
And to be in the present moment, man. When you're dancing, when you're learning, you forget about all those stresses, and it puts you in the moment.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, you're experiencing.
Absolutely.
Life.
And it's a beautiful thing, and with so many people, right?
Exactly.
Which is totally awesome. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you, man, and your leadership and obviously your experience, bro, because you've been doing this for quite some time now too.
Right.
Which is totally awesome. When we have our licensee meetings now and we come together and we share all that to ultimately give back to you guys, those that are listening right now, that are watching. So thank you for your continued loyalty and as always. You guys can always reach out to Galo, specifically Galo, Galo at salsakings.com, for any specifics as well. So okay, so yeah, dime.
All right. So I just want to add one more thing.
Yeah.
So just to finalize the whole effortless manifestation. So
there's a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
this is the cool part I wanted to share. So hopefully this can help other people also. But again, so then once I, just like you said, recently I started analyzing and said, and then I said, hey man, this salsa journey, man, it was just things just came and it happened so easily and so naturally. So then I started really thinking about why did this happen so effortlessly? And then my other manifestations when I was trying to do other things like a car or whatever, or a good job or this thing, or why those actually required more work and more intention and more like specific techniques, and this didn't require any of that. All right, so So the main thing is, again, the having that passion, that just love for something, right? So I had that passion, that obsession, that love for salsa, for casino, and rueda, and all that. I just fell in love with it, and I was obsessed about it. And then not only that, but I felt, and then how I wanted to just share it with anybody who freely, and there's like, and what you said, without any expectation in return. So I wasn't thinking about, all right, hey, I wasn't thinking, oh, the people I can charge, I can make some money from this, or if I teach them, then maybe they can hook me up with something here, or barter, things like that.
Right.
That wasn't even in the mind. I just wanted to share it. Hey, I just learned this new move. Let me teach you. Let me show you guys. I'll show you what I know, and just sharing that love for it and that passion for it, and again, just freely sharing everything I learned, freely teaching, having people come. Then I would accept anybody, whoever came, whoever just wanted to learn and had a love for it, a passion just like me, blah blah. And that was the main. That's the main thing that I think it was, is that no expectation in return. Do it freely, share it, and it was that passion, that love for it, and then just being in that energy, that vibe, projecting that out. I'm thinking that's what attracted people that with similar likes and interests in that. And then it's because of that, it was such a beautiful journey. This salsa journey had me met such amazing people, beautiful people, right? Lifelong friendships. Now when I go do non-salsa related stuff, the people that I hang out with are all my salsa friends. Those are the people that I do all that with.
Tell them about your son.
Uh-huh. Oh,
dude, this goes beyond. If you're comfortable, of course, you don't have to.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I can tell that story. That's a good side.
That's huge.
Forgot about that.
This is like goes beyond you, like.
All right, so this ties into some of the benefits of this, right? So, okay, I'm gonna bring in my actually both sons in a second.
Okay.
So then, besides meeting such amazing people, one another benefit, and I know you've experienced, and most instructors, and how the salsa love, the love stories, the people that meet in the classes, they start getting to know each other.
We got more marriages under our belt than a pastor, bro.
Exactly. So I stopped counting, but I think people that just from my classes, over 40 couples, so over 80 people,
like 40, 50,
minimum 40, 50 couples have gotten together, gotten married, kids.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Such a beautiful thing, right? Yeah. So tying into that. So then, as far as I remember, once I did some classes, classes at the Salsa Kings studio, and then I needed some instructors. So my kids, my two kids were in their teens, and I said, hey guys, and then I wanted them to get more social, because they were kind of nerdy. They were kind of just on the computer playing video games all day, not going out, not meeting people. And I said, no, I don't want this. So I want them to get more social, get away from the computer, do something different. Right. And they were like, nah, I don't want to. No, you guys, I need help. I need instructors. So both of them, I taught them everything they needed to know. This is how you teach. This is what you're going to teach. You're just going to teach this footwork. I taught just the basic things, and I did the more advanced stuff. And then became instructors, right? And then I told him, hey, and one of the side benefits, you're going to meet a lot of cool people. And you never know, there might be some cute girls there that are going to say, ooh, he's an instructor, this and that, whatever. And then you never know what can happen. The first class, I believe, literally the first class, my son's actual current wife walked in. And
How amazing
and that
is that?
Love story started in the first class where he was teaching for me.
That's unbelievable.
And then also for my second son, his current girlfriend met in that class too. So both of them found their loves in that first class through the salsa and through the classes. That's another beautiful side benefit of that.
That's so awesome.
And finally, the last thing I just want to add is just the satisfaction of seeing somebody that doesn't know anything, right? That the typical person that says, "Oh, I have two left feet," or "I have no rhythm," "I don't know, there's no way I can dance," and then they start learning with you, and then 3 months later, 6 months later, you're seeing what they're doing now. It's like, wow, You know, you get such a sense of satisfaction, like
Absolutely.
proud, like like purpose of. It just feels really good to see that. You know, it's something because of me, you're taking those classes. Look what this guy can do now. This feels right. So those are just beautiful experiences of just this whole salsa journey and being an instructor and being.
To get you one on top of that, to add on top of that.
Okay.
I love. This is gonna sound a little weird. I love enjoying watching them dance.
Yes.
Meaning, like, there's one thing, like, okay, being proud.
Right.
No, beyond that, when I am like literally captivated when I'm like watching my own student,
Right.
that for me is like,
Yep.
I'm like, dude, you rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where did you learn how to dance? Like, you know, like it's so fulfilling.
It is.
I at least now I can sit down at a social that we put together or whatever, and I can just watch everybody, and I can have a blast.
Yeah.
I can have an absolute blast, and I'm like,
Definitely.
oh, that was dope. Oh yeah, you know, and just everyone genuinely doing so well because they understand, which you know we do, and you always have too. It's just promote the fun, you know, that everyone's having a good time because they're connecting with the music. They understand the priority of that,
Exactly.
And they're able to take it with them for the rest of their lives.
And that's what I focus on now, because it took me forever to finally get that point. And after so much repetition from you, like, yeah, stop thinking. You just have fun. You're too much in your head. And I was always like real logical in the move and thinking. And then finally, I learned that lesson. And since then, it's been amazing. Such a different experience dancing now. When you just forget about doing fancy stuff and just focus on having fun, connecting with the person you're dancing with, making sure they're having fun, vibing to the music, listening, dancing to the music. It's just
playing.
It's just beautiful.
Playing.
You have an amazing time.
I love it. Galo, you the man. I appreciate you so much, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you guys for sharing this time with us. Again, Galo and I, we've known each other for quite some time now. And a lot of these things I didn't know, a lot of these details, which is truly amazing. So thank you for sharing this with us. And we will see you guys next week. Andres Fernandez and Mr. Pelon himself. Galo Paredes Jr. signing out.
All right, sign out. Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.